Welcome to King TV. Today we are discussing how South Sudanese farmers can prepare for the planting season. Joining us is agribusiness expert Nyara Emmanuel, who will take us through what needs to happen as the season is about to start. Nyara, briefly tell us who you are, what have you been doing?
Good, thank you so much. The management of King Media TV. By name, I'm Nyara Emmanuel. I work for Premium Agro Consult Company Limited in the capacity of Business Development Manager. I had been in this business for a very long time, working with our team together. This is our 8th year in business, but of course professional. I have been in this business for 14 years, serving the community within South Sudan. And we have really been working with the grassroots smallholder farmers.
So, Nyara, by default, all South Sudanese are born farmers.
Right.
I hope my assumption is correct. For the over 50 years that we have been in war, the only source of livelihood was really farming. Right. There's no other businesses that people can do. I mean, if they are, they're just minimum. How did you develop, the love, the passion for agriculture as a field?
Oh, thank you so much. One thing to be a bit very much more clear is, from childhood, of course, one is being engaged, especially in farming. But of course, calling is also quite different. At first, I thought I need to become a medical doctor. But of course, in the middle, I also look at the opportunity that lies within the sector. And then I'm like, I think I better move into professionalizing agriculture as a business. And since then, I've never looked back, and this is where I am. And I've lived happily, and I think I will also continue to be very happy in this business.
You choose not to be selfish. You are giving knowledge, skills to young people out there. As you have mentioned in your introduction, you're working with smallholder farmers. Yeah. When you say you're working with smallholder farmers, what are you doing to them?
You see, one thing is, when you look at farming from the old perspective, it's just like telling someone that hole a hole and go and dig. Okay? But now, how we are looking at this is not that same way. It's looking at farming as a business. And when we talk about that, our services actually cut across shaping the farmer as a whole, meaning right from giving agro-technical skills, moving into shaping the person with business skills, engaging him actually even in understanding financial literacy, developing business plan for this person, and linking this person even to microfinance, and doing forward and backward market linkages as well. So when you look at these services, this is actually what makes a farmer to grow, and what makes a farmer to be able to create employment opportunities also for other youths that are next to him or within her vicinity.
Yeah. You just reminded me, like I said earlier on, most of us are born into farming households. And one thing I learned when I was growing up is that the farming is more or less subsistent. Every year you are farming the same quantity of food, and there was no, tangible progress that you can see for the decades that we grew up farming. How do you people, you and many others out there, intend to change this mindset where people only grow some small food, put it in the granary, and then next year you're again farming the same quantity and so on? What are you doing to improve that?
The good thing is the mindset of the person. And when you try to unlock that mindset, that is the very thing that can actually spur development. And what we do as a consultancy firm is to ensure that we provide trainings. And these trainings are not just in the classroom. These are hands-on skills training that the person is able to see and able to do. And then we are also able to work very closely actually with the universities to do research, to get the right thing, to be able to deliver to the farmers, to be able to know. because we know they have their own knowledge, they have their own skills, but we are building on that, okay? Yeah. And then also trying to bring the element of looking at business, not only looking at farming, not only just farming, but understanding it that you are into farming as a business. You are not far from that person who wakes up early in the morning, opens up his shop, begin to sell until evening and close and do records, and then employs others, okay? This is what we are looking at, mindset change. You first need to understand the ABCD, the parameters of what you wanted to do. Enterprise selection, this is key, and this is what makes someone to even to understand the figures and to be able to go to the farm with a sense that this is what I'm going to get and this is what I'm going to spend, okay? Yeah. And then this is the kind of employment opportunities that I will be able to create. And when you have that mindset, definitely you will move from subsistence to commercial farming, whereby in subsistence you just only produce for yourself and eat for a certain level of months, and then at the next day you see the house is empty.
Exactly.
Okay? Kids are not going to school. You are just like the same, you know? Yes, yes. And that is actually what we are trying to actually unlock. And with the farmers that we had worked together with, and when you have a chance to interact with them, they will tell you how far they have moved.
Thank you. Now, from your perspective, how important is this planting season for South Sudan?
Because one thing is, you see from all the policy actors coming to the people who are within the value chain, the talk is all about agriculture, meaning there is an opportunity that lies there which is untapped. But the question is, when you begin to talk about it just as a mere talk, then it becomes a story. What you want to do is action-oriented, okay? What do you get out of farming, okay? And for us, seeing that this is a season, actually, people begin to realize that it is a season when there is a drop of rain. But as a serious farmer, you don't wait for a drop of the rain. You need to be able to plan from onset. And when you say actually about agribusiness, you need to begin mapping right from the time even before rain sets in. You should be able to know what you even want to plan, which enterprise you're going into, who are the actors within the value chain that you need to interlink with, okay? Who are the off-takers? Who will buy from you in case you have actually bumper harvest, okay? How will this get distributed, you know? When you have this mindset, then you get prepared actually for the season. But when you just wait for the rain to bump like this, then you begin looking for where is the next tool, where can I get the next tool, where can I get the next sheets, you know? This already actually puts you in a very odd position, okay? In a very odd position. And this is why our counterparts actually from the other locations gets this right better than what we do. So what we are saying is that we should stop the aspect of talking, but we need to be action-oriented and to be able to know the cropping calendar.
Thank you, viewer of King TV. You're welcome to the show. Today we are talking about how South Sudanese can prepare for the agricultural season, and particularly the planting season. My name is Scopus, and with me in the studios is agribusiness expert Nyara Emmanuel, Eli, who has been in the agribusiness sector for 14 years. So we are here to explore how farmers can prepare for the season, but also really understand the agriculture business, or agriculture as a business. Before we went for the break, Nyara Emmanuel, we looked at the value chains that are involved in agriculture. And I asked you what that means really for the lay person. Can you take us through that once again?
Good. Thank you so much. As I had mentioned earlier on, you know, when we deal with the smallholder farmer that is down at the community, you failing to understand what we talk about, then definitely, of course, we need to bring it to the simpler point. What we refer to about agricultural value chain is that when you have actors that are supporting the agricultural sector, those are the very ones that we refer to as, they are the one forming the aspect of the agricultural value chain. So when we talk about the chain itself, is that when one of the actor is not available, then it is not a complete chain.
Just like the chain of a bicycle.
Like the chain of a bicycle or the chain of anything that you or maybe of a pulley.
Yeah.
So for an example, for me as a farmer, okay, I need to have the agro dealer. The agro dealer that I can be able to walk into the shop to be able to buy quality seeds, to be able to buy quality tools, and perhaps also buy either inorganic or maybe organic pesticides or maybe fertilizers and all that, depending on what my enterprise demands. And then me myself as a farmer, I'm also part of the chain, because without me, production cannot happen.
Right.
Then thereafter, I move to, after producing, then I also need service provider, like the people who does the tractor services.
Yes.
Because they need to plow for me the land. First plowing, second plowing, all that. And then we move into now the planting. Of course, that is done by me as a farmer. But then once my produce are ready, who is next? Meaning the buyer.
Right.
Who is the off-taker? Who will be able to buy a lot? When you're trying to engage an off-taker, meaning you're already in commercial farming. You're not that person who does subsistence. Because here, today, we are discussing about commercial farming.
Agribusiness.
Because that is what we are looking at transforming us as a country.
Right.
And then thereafter, and then you look at the processor. Because the processor also promises the off-taker business that I can be able to buy this and process into products, whether being flour, whether being any of the products. Then thereafter, there is a distributor. This distributor now deliver it to the consumers. But of course, in between, there are what we call the support actors. The support actors now could be people like you, okay, who are in the media, who gives information. We have the extension services, who gives training. Like now for us, we give trainings as Premium Agro Council. We are very much more needed than even the telecom companies, because they are the chain that people will use for communication. Then therefore, we look at the policy actors now who sits at the top, who provides for us the enabling environment to ensure that we as farmers, we have quality feeder roads that can ensure that we get from the village to the town to deliver our produce. We have the security, okay? That is good. Very good taxation policy that is pro-farmers, to ensure that farmers grow. These are the things that ensures that agriculture flourishes, and it is what someone can be able to refer to that is the backbone of any country. Because if you say 80% of the population is depending on agriculture, and it is true, because 100% of people depend on food. Right. Okay, I've never heard of someone who has stayed for years without eating food. Definitely, at least at the close of the day, if you're not fasting, you should be able to have something to a bite. Yeah. Okay, so that is actually just in simple terms, so that the person down there can be able to understand. Right. But not only even the person down there, even the person up there will also need to understand. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yes. So, just a segue from what you have just explained. Are you saying that the agriculture as a field is ripe enough to employ all South Sudanese actually? I mean, you have mentioned a lot of value chains that could employ South Sudanese. Why are South Sudanese not embracing it?
You see, when they say pride can easily kill, is in situations of this nature, okay? Because someone may be feeling so sweet about himself or herself that why do I need to go and dirty
my hands
to be dirty? Okay, why do I need to go and do the heavy work, the donkey work? But I can tell you, specialization is key. You may not be right at the start of the chain, but you can also be able
You
to...
can just fix yourself somewhere in...
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you're an off-taker, you only need to have the capital to understand the market, to know who are the other actors beyond you, the processors are existing. Because even from the processors, especially if you're dealing in the maize value chain, you know that even already somewhere there are poultry farmers who need bran, maize bran. So you can again also fit somewhere there, okay? Right. So the agriculture sector can employ all of us. In some other regions, the East African bloc, you find that people are diverting from their normal professional careers, getting to the farm. What could be the reason? It's because they know
they have seen money.
They have seen money. But it's not that they've woken up one day to just go to the farming. These are people who have first given themselves time. Not that you need to go into the school to study agriculture, but have given themselves time to listen to this kind of discussion we are in right now, to go into reading some journals, getting to YouTube, understanding, and having a mentor next to talk to, and then doing enterprise selection rightly. That is when agriculture can employ all of us. Right. But it's only when we
transform our mindset.
We get our mindset off, whereby we begin to think in a different way.
Right.
Yes.
I have been to the East African countries, the other East African countries. Right. Kenya, to be specific, Uganda, and Rwanda. And when you go, there is where they call produce market. Right. And you see a lot of farm produce there. What value chain are those people playing? Those ones specific, I don't think they are really actively in the farm. Yes. But they have farm produce, a lot of them, and people are buying from them.
Those are actual off-takers. They are off-takers. When you say off-takers, they can be like the wholesalers, okay? Right. They aggregate, okay? And you see, the beauty is that the more you climb the chain up, yes, the more you make the money. So at the bottom, the really smallholder farmer that we are talking about, because he or she doesn't add any value, and then you find that he's not making that real money.
Yeah. Yeah. So every value chain you step, you add a value. That's yes, what you're saying.
Yes.
And that makes you additional money.
Additional money. And you see, when people talk about value addition, someone can mistake it by saying, okay, oh, maybe you need to have a machine. No, it's not all about making machine. Already it is in practice in Cuba here. When you go to the rural markets, you find a farmer coming with groundnuts, very dirty with the soil, and selling it. Almost selling a cup at maybe 1,000. Okay? Now there is a businesswoman or a businessman from Juba here that goes to the village to aggregate and buys that one cup at 1,000, and then comes here to Juba, wash it very clean, very shiny.
Yes, cleans it up.
And put a cup at 6,000 or even around 10,000 SSP. What is the margin? And what is the logic behind it? It's just all about cleaning, providing something hygienic. So someone can be able to stop to buy. So that me, the consumer, is very, very sure that what I'm eating is very healthy for my body. Then someone also will also begin to move and say, no, I think I need to dry this, but I need to shell it off. And then try to fry. Then you're given like around 2 spoons.
Yes.
Okay, 2 spoons at maybe 2,000. So the higher you go and where you add value is when you are able to realize money. Yeah. So this is what we are talking about, that we all need to be proactive and to know where we fit within the chain. Yes.
Thank you. That was almost taking us to now the agribusiness, which you have already actually started talking about it. But before we talk about the agribusiness, let us talk about the planting season. I know you had mentioned from our introduction page, the season is right at the door. What should farmers do? I know you said they should be, by now they should have an idea where they're getting their seeds and so on, rather than being taken abrupt. What should farmers do specifically right now that will create a difference for that particular farmer who is prepared as opposed to the one who is not prepared?
Now, I think what we are trying to give is for preparation, perhaps for the first season, or if not even for the second season. That is yet ahead to come. One thing is, as I've mentioned, is as a farmer, the first thing, even before the fall of any rain, or maybe even if actually there is, if you have a ground that is already a farmland before, then you need to do plowing, okay? And then so that when you receive one of the heaviest rain, once there is no a lot of weeds and the rest of the thing, then you can be able to do your planting in the recommended way. But of course, when it is still a virgin land, we'll be doing land clearance, meaning in land clearance, you're already uprooting the trees. And this land clearance, you can do it even before even fall of any rain, okay? You uproot trees based on the acreage that you need. But when you're uprooting trees also, you also must be very mindful about what kind of trees you're getting down, okay? Because some people may end up clearing the whole thing, and then at the end of the day, the impact also may also not be very well, okay? So you must be very selective in what you do. And then once you do that, then you move into now the plowing of the land. Now when you do the plowing of the land, and then you allow it to actually, let me say, stay for some bit of time, like around 3 weeks to decompose. And then now you do the replowing once maybe rain comes, and that will allow you now to do planting. But of course, like what I've said is, you see, you don't need to just be taken by surprise. Very many people had plowed a chunk of land with the expectation that they are going to plant. But you go and plant these crops that are not high value. You know, high value crops are crops that when you get to the market, they get for you more money. Now when you compare millet and you compare with maize, definitely millet brings more money, okay? And of course, not that every season you have to chip in. You need to also monitor, where do I need to actually even to fit in? Perhaps maybe even during the first season, that is now this season here, it might not be the best season for you to go into production, because post-harvest losses management is actually even much more a bit easier to do. But now when you have during the second season, you know whether you can be able to manage. Okay, so these are some of the things. And then when you look at farmers, be it the one that has learned, the one who is not learned, the one who is very passionate, they at times make the same mistakes, which mistakes are actually the very thing that we say we need to avoid. Some people even begin to plan their farms with at the background knowing that they are waiting for free seeds to be given to them. Okay, you know free seeds, you know free tools. So, and the seasons for these, or the distribution plan for the person that plans to give these seeds is not rhyming with what you want to do. Maybe someone is coming to you at around May, okay, and that is already past the period, okay. Right. So, if you are someone who have business at the back of your mind, you must plant your farm with the agro dealer at the background, that I'm going to buy my quality seeds, okay. So, but of course, not all the dealers in the agri inputs are genuine. Others also get poor quality seeds or poor quality tools. And that's why actually when we step in, some of our role is to do linkages. When we say forward and backward market linkages, we are trying to say that we link you to actors who sells the rightful inputs. Forward linkages, what we do is to link you now to off-takers that of course now you've produced. Where is the next buyer? And this is basically where we play our role as Premium.
Yes. As we come to the end of our show or interview, so many of the questions I had put in my guide, you have answered in your lengthy explanation. Let us talk about policy issues with no specific reference really, but let us talk about what the government can do, what the country can do. I mean, you did mention some of the challenges facing agriculturalists or farmers, being insecurity, being poor infrastructure. What can the government do to improve this whole situation? Because there's a lot of hunger. Reports are out there that indicate South Sudanese are suffering from hunger. South Sudanese are suffering from hunger as a result of this instability, this movement. People don't have time to settle and do farming. And that compounds the economic situation that each and everyone is experiencing in the country. When the solutions to our issues in South Sudan are very simple, what would you say? As a person who has been in the field and you know how it has affected you and many others.
Yeah, you see, what I can say is advocacy, because when we talk about the public-private partnership, one of our role that we play is to advocate for this kind of services, for this kind of policies to be enacted. All these policies are already in place. But of course, you know, when you talk about infrastructure is not all about policy. It's all about giving in for the community, for them to be able to access the opportunities. And once they access the opportunities, be it in the agriculture sector, be it in any other sector, because the infrastructure is right, then the economy will boom, definitely. Okay? And when the economy grows, of course, now the government can be able also to do some of the other services like maybe health, provision of water, and the rest. So everything lies in doing one thing. If you have done one thing right, then the rest will just follow. When we look about issues to do with the insecurity, these are man-made issues, okay? And this is also at the high level because we have they have seen at that high level, they have seen how communities are struggling from all angles, from all ways of life. And these have moved a lot of youths that are supposed to do something, to be all in town here. And the town cannot consume all of them because you come to town without any skills.
Right.
And then when you come to the town without any skills, then definitely you end up in a wrong clique and you can become a gang. And of course, when you become a gang, we will definitely lose you. And when we lose you, then definitely as a government also, you have lost a human resource who should have been doing something right at the community level. So security is also key that it has to be looked into. And of course, this will also need the efforts from all the stakeholders. For when we have a platform that brings people together to voice this, then once this is being taken positive, because you can see from other places where security is placed at a higher level, then definitely the rest becomes easier. Where you see businesses even operate till dawn, okay? People move till morning because roads are clear. Then now, policies surrounding agriculture are key, where extension services are provided to farmers. Farmers are actually generally struggling on their own, okay? Because as a company, we don't do it as a charity, okay? We provide at a cost. But even if how we subsidize it at the end of the day, a farmer may not feel that an extension service has to be paid for. They may think it has to be given for what? For free. Because everything, once you have entered a business, you do it for money. Then policies surrounding trade, because it falls within the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And when we begin to talk about the ACTIFA, okay, the African Free Trade Continental, Area, whereby youth within Africa are supposed to be able to access opportunities within the continent, with the East. These are all enabling environment that has first to be created in the country, and that youths can now be able to access this. But of course, when there's still some stumbling block, whereby you see taxes are a bit very high on the agricultural produces, for you to be able to come from the village to here, you have a lot of checkpoints whereby there are money that is being taken and all that. So when you arrive here, you fail to compete with your counterparts from the other part of the region, okay? Because for them, their cost of production is very low. Because when you don't understand the cost of production, then definitely you're not in business. Because when you talk about cost of production, you first need to be able to know exactly what you are going to be able to inject, okay? Be it both the direct or the indirect, okay? And then, therefore, what now remains at the hand, when you look at as your income, if it is not promising, then you are not in business. But of course, this is not what very many people look at. Like if me and you, in our scenario currently, I'm only convinced by when I tell you that, okay, you know, tomato growing is the best enterprise for you to go in. And I could not tell you about what are the technicalities involved with what are the cost drivers into that. Right. But I will convince you that you see people come and buy tomatoes, and they use tomato. Every family need a piece of tomato in a day. So it's, oh, I think that is right. Then you begin to chip into, okay? But you need to first know the cost drivers for producing even tomato, for even one tomato. You actually even also need to know which variety of tomato you need to plant, which one is high yielding. From one plant of tomato, how many fruits will you be able to get, okay? So all this, the labor, everything, if you don't know, then at the end of the day, you are not in business. You are repeating the same mistake. And then I was like, yesterday we had been with one of my colleagues, and I was like, you see, I have one of the farmer. This person, his life has never changed, okay? I was like, but how? I was like, because this person is rigid. He does things the other way, okay? He is not understanding why we need to move, okay? So when you don't do this, tomorrow I find you are in the same state. The next day, you're the next day. The next year, you're the same. So all these are issues that we need to be able to address from the private sector, from the government, and from other stakeholders as well.
Thank you. I know you have answered the question, the last question that I am about to ask, but I want you to re-emphasize. How can young people get started in agribusiness or agriculture with the limited resources that they have? You have already mentioned we do not have enough microfinance institutions that can give loan. We do not have even our banking, our banks. I don't think they are really living up to their purpose, apart from just keeping people's money. They are not living up to the purpose. Many people are struggling with small businesses that could have been supported at small interest, but it is either not there or the interest is even extremely high. How can young people then get into agriculture?
One thing is is the mind. The mind is your capital. Okay. In agriculture, when we say about the humble beginning, starting small, it's not that maybe you don't have the finances. But some people, when they begin to praise about commercial farming, it's like, I need to have a tractor, I need to have this, I need to have all that.
Right, before I start.
Before I start. But that is not the way. You first need to be able to know actually, even to go to that higher level, you need to be able even to know what are the risks actually even involved. But even starting even small, like if you're into tomato production, even a 10 by 10 plot, okay, 10 by 10 meter plot is even enough for you to spur you to begin something. The very thing is about the passion for that thing, okay. And I do remember when I first got my first assignment in 2010, one of my mentors told me that, Emmanuel, you've gotten a job. I'm like, yes, I've gotten it. Then he even asked for how much you're earning. And that time I was earning 2,500 SSP.
Right.
And that was great money. It was like, okay, now you see what? There is no small money. There is no big money. It's only like how you use it. As we speak right now, the youth that we have can be able to have money to buy a hoe, can have money to buy a slasher, to buy, and to actually even also be able to rent along
River Nile.
Along River Nile. Because when you talk about renting per month along the River Nile, you don't spend more than 70,000 SSP per month. So you have a season of like around 3 months or maybe, and so maybe for vegetables. But you have water that is running next to you here. Can't you be able to do this? So you wanted to disturb. You need to make everyone to know that you need a capital. It's not all about that. So what we do actually as a company is that even before we could tell you that get to the farm, we know that each and everyone has an entrepreneurial spirit that is lying in him or her. Everyone has it. But unless if it is being awakened, that is when the person will know that, yes, I think I'm not the one. I need to do something. So we first begin with the what we call innovation, like to take you through an innovation session. That is like a 1 day. And then once we have taken you through that, and that innovation session, we bring a lot of experiences that ignite your mind. And once your mind is being ignited, then we transition you into a business skills training. When we transition you, because that business skills training will start you right from understanding entrepreneurship, knowing your human resources, knowing your operations, like trying to make you understand your cost, yeah. Then now getting you to understand your financial. Then once you are already in that, and we make it much more simpler, we have both these for the literate, the semi-literate, and then also the semi-illiterate, and then for the illiterate, we have all the training materials for them. And once we have seen that, we have worked on your mind, okay? Then now, already you will be able to know, understand the value chain, where you can be able to fit. Then we'll have now a one-on-one with you, a coaching process. And then thereafter, now we begin to introduce you into your enterprise. That is now when the technical parameters of your business comes in. Yeah. We call it business because it is agriculture as a business. So we take you through this. And when we take you through this, at the end of the day, you will not even be asking us that where is the capital. You will be able to start with what you have, and you will get back to us and say that now the business plan that I had initially was small, but now I want to scale up. Then we say, okay, you want to scale up. Can we have a look at your records? Because now we'll be able to use your records to link you now to the financial institutions. It is, we have track records, and we have worked actually with the financial institutions that can be able to to offer loan. And we know definitely youths do not have other collaterals. But based on referrals and based on your clear track record of doing your work, then definitely you will be tested with some small finances for you to expand. And there you move, okay? So capital aside, but your mind first.
Right. Thank you, Nyara Emmanuel, for the time you have given us here in the studios of King TV or King Media as a whole. We look forward to engage you in further conversations around agriculture and visit your farm. Just, I know that you're busy along River Nile. Yeah. What are you doing there?
We do produce horticultural crops.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do the public access those things that you produce from?
Public access, because one thing is, as I've mentioned to you, is that we are a one-stop shop in a way that we give trainings, and we also develop businesses by enterprise development, and then we also have the demonstration farm that we have at Rajab. We call it demonstration initially from onset because it is a center of skills transfer that the community get to access. But of course, we also have biosecurity measures that we also put in place. And then, as time goes on, we discover that with the quality of the produce that we get from the farm, then there is need for us to what? There was need for us to expand. And then we had to expand, and currently it is on a commercial basis. In that, most of our produce back then could reach up to Munuki, but now it could not reach because we have to, they are already off-takers. I mean, off-takers are the main market in Gumbo. Yeah. Okay, they are stationed there. Some of them actually even get right to the farm, okay, at the farm gate price, okay. So all these, and when you get to where we are like a community of farmers. Right. Community of farmers, because you see, here is the next farm, the other one, and there is skills adoption from what we do. And when you get to the next farm, you see the same tactics or skills that we display at the farm. It's the same thing that is also being. The goodness is that a farmer is someone who is very intelligent, can see and can put his hands and can do something. So this is actually the direction we are looking into. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Nyara Emmanuel. Thank you for the opportunity for this interview. Like I said, we will one day also invite you to our studios and discuss this further, and see how we can also visit, your farms with our cameras and so on, right, for any stories that we are doing.
Great.
Thank you, viewer of King TV, for staying loyal to our one-on-one conversation with Nyara Emmanuel, an agribusiness expert who has been here in South Sudan for 14 years doing the same work. Our mission is to bring information and knowledge to whoever yearns for knowledge. Thank you once again. We look forward to having you the next time we're having a similar conversation. My name has been Guia Scopus Betrel. Thank you.
This is King Media, Beyond the News.